Hey guys, welcome into Faith and Football. My name is Neil, and as always, I'm your host. Welcome to the start of the regular season. That's right. All the shouting and hoopla is done. The drafts are finished. All the decisions have been made to set you up to get one of these. No, not a Redskin banner, but a championship. And how do you get to the championship? Well, you got to win. How do you win? You do the right decisions. You got to step out in faith and do the start sits, and maybe I can help you out with that. That's what I'm going for this in this episode. We're talking start sit decisions, and I'm not doing the obvious ones. I'm not going to tell you to, yeah, go ahead and start Josh Allen, go ahead and start Pat Mahomes, go ahead and start Jonathan Taylor and Devontae Adams and all these guys that you drafted in the first 3 rounds. I'm not going there. We'll find out where I'm going right after we insert this week's faith into Faith and Football. So I'm sitting there and I'm doing this, the start sets, and I'm sitting there going, what in the Bible can equate to this? What equates to stepping out in faith? And there are so many stories that you could probably grab. And the one that stood out to me was this: David and Goliath. And I know you're thinking, how cliche. Okay. David and Goliath, you get it's the little guy versus the big guy. The little guy wins. Yay. Okay. But here's the thing. David had doubt, just like we have doubt. And I'm not just talking doubt about your fantasy team. I'm talking doubt about day-to-day life. Okay. Whether or not to take that job, whether or not to do this or do that. We're faced every day with choices. And to step in faith, to make the right decision, that takes something. And David had a little bit of doubt, but he stepped out in faith anyway. And you're thinking, well, wait a minute, how did he have doubt? I mean, he went out there, and we all know the story. We all know that, he stepped out and onto the battlefield with no armor and 5 stones and a slingshot and against this big, tall giant. And, nobody thought he could win and all this other stuff. But here's the thing that kind of stuck out to me was he grabbed 5 stones. Like, why 5? Why not just one? Like, God couldn't just take 1. Like, is it really going to take 5? See, Daniel had doubt. Daniel was like, okay, I'm stepping out here. I'm trusting that God's put me in this place for a reason, that I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to be here. But there's that little something inside of him that goes, just in case, I'm going to take these 5 stones in case the first one misses. Okay. We all have that doubt. We all have that time where, we're really not sure if we have inside of us to do what we've been called to do. And it's okay, because as long as we're stepping out in faith, as long as we are trusting that we're in the right place for the right reason, then we can trust the process and trust God's process in our life. So I want to read to you from 1 Samuel chapter 17 in verse 40. It says, he picked up 5 smooth stones from the stream and put them in his shepherd's bag. Then, armed only with his shepherd's staff and sling, he started across the valley to fight the Philistine. So he takes the 5 stones. He goes out there. We know the rest of the story. But back up a little bit. Like, nobody thought that he was going to win. Nobody thought that he could do this. He was just a kid delivering lunch to his brothers, and he was in the right place, right time, in the right environment that he needed to be in to do what God purposed him to do. Today, we're going to talk about some players that are maybe not that talented, maybe not that special, but they're in the right environment to help your fantasy team win. We're going to start with the starts, and I'm not going to do the whole, start this guy, start the guy. No, I'm going to tell you guys to start the ones that you have questions about. See, when God chose people in the Bible, like he didn't choose the obvious ones. He didn't choose the rich guy or the popular guy or the prettiest woman. He didn't choose any of those. He chose the people that society rejected. He chose the tax collector that nobody liked. He chose the woman who had 5 different husbands and was living with a man out of wedlock. He chose people that others would reject. So let me ask you this. When you go through your day-to-day life, do you feel sometimes like you are the one that has been rejected? I know I do sometimes. I know those who love me and are close to me and know me, that I'm important to them. But there are times when you look around and maybe it's at your job, maybe it's just out, maybe you go on social media and you see people who are living their best life. Okay, let me let you in on a little secret. Those people are living what they want to show you. They're not showing you everything. Okay. Daniel or David didn't show everything. He didn't go down there and say, hey, I'm scared. I'm worried. I got a little bit of doubt. No, he went down there and he was like, hey, look, this can't happen. This is my God you're talking about. This ain't flying. And he went down there and he took care of business. So we're going to show today some guys who are going to take care of business for you. And as you go through your day, I want you to remember, as you go through this first week of fantasy football, there's going to be times when you have doubt, but look a little deeper, just like God does. God looks deeper within us and sees the potential that we have to do great things for him, regardless of what you're doing, regardless of wherever you've been. Just like these players, regardless of what school they went to, regardless of what they've had in the past, regardless of the injuries, they still have potential to do greatness for you. Just like you have the potential to do great things for God. So I want you to take that into your week, and let's dive in to our first start set of the week, week 1, 2022. And before we do, listen, my draft, we always do a live draft. It has been hosted for the past, I think, going on 4 years now with Zia of Lafayette. Zia at 235 Duce Road. You can give them a call, 406-0013. And anybody who has gone and watched the live that we did, you saw Leonard, you saw the man of the hour. He is the one that allows me to have the sponsorship through Zia. Phenomenal guy, does a lot of good charity work in the community, and is an absolutely amazing businessman. So if you're in the Lafayette area, go down there and check them out. If you need catering, you got to see if you need a place to host a party. You saw on my live the back room, the party room that we got to have all to ourselves, courtesy of Zia. You got to see some good food. You got to see the area and the good time that we had. And we're going to look here in a second at my league of record, which is the Zia Fantasy Football League. We're going to look and see who got what and maybe, make fun of a couple people. So all in good humor, all in good fun. But yeah, go down there. Look, guys, if you need a place to party, if you need a place to have a good time, go down and see Zia, see Andy and Heath and Tucker, and of course Leonard, all the guys down there. Ask if I'm there, and I'll come out and say hey. So go down there and check them out. Again, 235 Duce Road. They're right behind the Grand Theater off of Johnson Street in front of Red Laurel's. And you can't beat the food. The hummus is amazing. The ribs, the grits, the rotisserie food, out of this world. And as I've always said, if I could carry the grits around in my pocket, I wouldn't have to pay for half the stuff in this town. So let's get into the start set. We're going to go with quarterback first. Look, I know you probably agonized over this pick. Maybe you punted the position. If you don't know what punted means, means you missed my my terminology episode. Go back and watch it if you're new. If you are new, down the bottom, subscribe, like, and share for me, and try to help build me up here a little bit. We're trying to do some great things here, and I need your help in getting the word out. Okay, so I also need a chair that doesn't squeak as much. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's driving me nuts. But anyway, look, I know this guy's an unpopular pick, but I talked about him on a previous episode. It is Mr. Matt Ryan. That's right. Matt Ryan is one of my 3 quarterback starts of the week. He's playing the Lions, and according to Yahoo, the defense of the Lions is ranked 30th. That's right, 3-0. Guys, there's only 32 teams in the league. There's only 2 teams that are worse than these guys. Okay? He's going against the Lions. He's got a phenomenal defense. He's going to score. Okay? Whether that's through the air, dump off, whatever, doesn't matter. Okay? Matt Ryan against the Lions. Okay? If you're looking for something, maybe you got stuck. Maybe you got stuck with one of my sits of the week, and Matt Ryan's your backup. Nobody wanted to draft him. But let me tell you this. Let me give you a little glimmer of hope here. Last year, and I think we would all agree that Matt Ryan's a better quarterback than Carson Wentz. So take Matt Ryan, put him on the same team that Carson Wentz had pretty much. And Carson Wentz winds up as quarterback 14 last year. I really think that Matt Ryan can do better than quarterback 14 this year. Okay. Got a breakout in Pittman. He's got outstanding run game that has this. The defenses have got to respect Jonathan Taylor, best runner in the game. Okay. When I got Alex Pierce, rookie wide receiver. Okay. These guys that are on the Colts are absolutely phenomenal. They are poised to win this division. They play really horrible teams. I mean, they play Jacksonville twice. They play Houston twice. They play Tennessee. That's not really that good anymore. So you got 6 games right there. They're going to be favored, just plain and simple. Okay. So Matt Ryan, start of the week. Now, next one, this is the last guy in like kind of that elite quarterback tier that some people might not be too big on, but I had to put him in here only because he's going against his former team. That's right. Monday night, Denver, Seattle. Thank you, NFL. I appreciate it greatly because this is going to be a points extravaganza. If you were lucky enough to get Russ, Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, any of these guys, even KJ Hamler, okay? Any of these guys are going to look. Russ wants to torch Seattle on primetime TV and make them regret not giving him the contract and letting him go. This is going to be a beatdown of all beatdowns, okay? And you need a piece of this game in your fantasy lineup, okay? So if you've got Russ, start him with all confidence, especially if you were good enough to get the stack of Russ and Sutton or Russ and Jeudy. Now, me personally, I think Courtland Sutton's going to be the number 1 target, but that's me. I'm not alone, by the way. Now, this third guy. Now, yes, Russ was kind of an obvious choice, and I said I wouldn't do that. I promise there aren't any more, okay? The next one, let's just say that you're not really happy with the matchup that your starting quarterback has. Maybe it's Jalen Hurts. Maybe you really want to see what he's got before you put him out there. Maybe it's Matt Stafford. Maybe you're not really sure about that elbow against the number one ranked defense in the league. Maybe you want to give it a second. Give it a second and put Jameis Winston going up against Atlanta, who just so happens to be the 29th ranked worst defense in the league. What more can you ask for? Supposedly, Michael Thomas is back. You got Chris Olave. They brought in Jarvis Landry. Kamara's there. I mean, come on, guys. What more do you want? You get two rivals who love beating the you know what out of each other. You know that there are going to be some scores. And if you guys saw any part of any preseason game with Jameis in it, Jameis looked good. He looked real good. I get it was against backups. I get that sometimes it wasn't against the starters, but just the form looked really, really good. So, Matt Ryan, Jameis Winston, and of course, Russ Wilson. So, those are your quarterback starts of the week. Running back. Who are we going? Of course, look, Melvin Gordon versus Seattle. Look, I already said it with Russ. This is going to be a beatdown. And what happens in a beatdown? You're going to get to a point where they're going to start pulling guys or at least limiting those star players that they want to save for the rest of the season. They're going to get up by like 21 points or something like that. Melvin Gordon will be the guy, if not the entire second half, at least the majority of it. I don't see them risking Javonte Williams throughout the entire game. Okay. They don't want to burn him out early. That's why they re-signed Melvin Gordon after he was out there. They're going to use him. They brought him back. They didn't have to bring him back. He knew the system. They knew what they had. It's a safe bet. He's an insurance policy for their future star running back in Javonte Williams. Take advantage of this game and put Melvin Gordon in. Now, I'm not saying put Melvin Gordon in above Javonte Williams. Let's not get crazy. But if you got a flex position that you're kind of, up in the air about, yeah, he might not get if you're in a PPR league, yeah, he might not get the passing work, but he will score at least one touchdown. Okay. Speaking of scoring at least one touchdown, Mark Ingram. Look, I don't know if any of you guys watched the preseason. I saw a little bit of it, and Melvin Gordon is slimmed down. I mean, he looks like he's my size. And I'm not saying I'm slim, but compared to what Mark was when he was in Baltimore, he slimmed down a lot. So look, Mark Ingram, he's getting goal line work. He's going to get that 10 and in. Okay. If they get to the 10-yard line, Kamara probably got him down there. He's out of breath. He needs a breather. They're going to put in Mark Ingram against Atlanta, guys. I mean, come on. Atlanta's not that good. I don't know how many times I got to say this. I'm probably going to say it at least one more time. And that's when we talk about wide receivers, Chris Olave and Brandon Ayuk. That's right. Chris Olave against Atlanta. You don't think that New Orleans wants to come out and showcase their rookie wide receiver? You don't think that this guy can be either as great or even better than what Jameis had in Tampa? Look, we know that Jameis can throw the ball. He's still got a young arm. He got the LASIK. Actually, he got down here in Louisiana. We got LASIK, Dr. Lahaye. Outside Louisiana, you don't know about that. It's okay. But listen, Chris Olave, I was targeting him. I would love to get this guy on my team. Didn't happen, but we'll take a second. We're going to take a quick break in between the starts and the sets before I get into the sets and show you how my draft actually went. So I said Brandon Ayuk. Look, who are the Niners playing? Oh, that's right, the Bears. Guys, the Bears are horrible. Okay, their defense isn't that great. They're probably middle of the road at best. But Brandon Ayuk is the go-to guy for Trey Lance. Look, Trey Lance is a rushing quarterback. There's no doubt about that. But Brandon Ayuk is coming into this season hot. He ended hot. He's going to start hot. I'm telling you right now, Brandon Ayuk, if you've got that flex position open, he's probably not, your top two wide receivers on your roster, unless you went running back heavy early. Okay. So Brandon Ayuk against the Bears. Now, tight end. Look, tight end is a coin flip. You might as well just take a quarter, flip in there, and hey, whatever comes up, that's who you start. Unless you got one of the top I don't know, let's say 5 guys. So unless you've got one of those top 5 tight ends that you had to pay an extremely high draft capital for, like you had to pay, I don't know what, second round for Kyle Pitts and Andrews. You had to pay maybe fourth round for Kittle. Um, Kelsey was probably second or third round. It's ridiculous how high you had to pay for these guys. But if you want dominance at the position, that's what you had to pay. Now in our league, if I'm not mistaken, Waller fell probably to the 7th round. It was ridiculous how far he fell, but nobody wanted him. Big mistake, I think, but I wasn't paying that for a tight end. I have my own personal strategy for tight end. Now, if you punted the position, if you went ahead and I don't know why you would, but you drafted 2 tight ends, I don't know. David Njoku, look, they paid him, and Jacoby Brissett hyper targets the tight end. If you don't believe me, go back to when Jacoby Brissett was a starter with Indianapolis. He was absolutely just zeroed in on the tight end position. It didn't matter who you are. I mean, Jack Doyle, with his little bitty hands, was a top tight end with Jacoby Brissett. David Njoku, much better tight end, has the capital, the pay. He got the contract. He got everything, and he is going to be the guy. They planted their flag on David Njoku this year, and they said, "Hey, here's the money. Go be our guy." Okay. They let Amari Cooper walk. Okay. What more do you want? I'm sorry, not Amari. It's Amari Cooper. Anyway, they're going to let him be. I'm sorry, they let Jarvis Landry walk. Okay. David Njoku is going to be probably the second passing option for the Browns, if not a 2A, 2B type thing with Donovan Peoples-Jones. So now this next guy, he's kind of a dart throw. He's kind of a dark horse. He's always had fantasy managers just begging for him to break out, just salivating, just watering at the mouth for this guy to actually have an awesome season that he is capable of. Talking about Mark Ingram or Evan Ingram. Look, Evan Ingram, he's with Jacksonville. Yes, there's a few targets there, but you've got a new coaching staff. You've got a sophomore quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, who all reports coming out of camp are that this kid is much more accurate this year, and they're facing Washington. Now, I don't like to say this, but Washington is in the bottom part of defenses as far as the ranking goes. But even if they do get pressure on Trevor Lawrence, who is the safety blanket for skittish quarterbacks? Tight ends and receiving backs. So you got James Robinson, Travis Etienne, if they use him like that, and Evan Ingram. They paid everybody a ton of money, so I can't use that in Jacksonville. They paid Zay Jones, why, I don't know. They paid Christian Kirk, why, I don't know. But everybody got some money. Okay, they might as well have been Fort Knox Jaguars this year. But that's what happened in Jacksonville. Now, they gave Evan Ingram and everybody a pretty sweet deal. And if you didn't see on the live, my buddy Dusty with Keller's Bakery. Dusty, what's happening, my man? I appreciate the plug and I appreciate the sweets that you brought for the draft. And if you were in the Lafayette, Louisiana area, if you were in Youngsville, go down and see Keller's Bakery at 627 Lafayette Street off the Youngsville Highway. You can call them up 337-856-4449. You can also find them on Facebook to place your order. Now, if you go down there, you place an order and you say Faith in Football sent you, you get 2 free mini cupcakes. And I got it confirmed on the live by the owner, Dusty. Hey, I might lay off your team a little bit this week, but you're fair game next week. Okay. So go down to see my boy Dusty. You can see him at Keller's Bakery. Address again is 627 Lafayette Street off the Youngsville Highway in Youngsville, Louisiana. So right now, let's take a look at what happened in the draft. Now, we did have a very special guest step in at the last minute because we had one of our guys come out, back out on me, and he wasn't. Some stuff came up, wasn't able to make it. So you see this beautiful young lady right here, absolutely Mandy. That is my wife and back-to-back champion of 2 years ago. She was the 2020 and 2020, I'm sorry, 2019 and 2020 champion of this league. Okay. For those of you who watched the live, or if you go back and watch it, you will see D Shore. That is my buddy Dusty Shore. My boy D Money. You see Daniel right here. My boy Nick, who is also a sponsor of the show. And if you are around the Lafayette area and you need a fresh cut, which I desperately do, and I just need to make an appointment to get down to see him, but things have been a little crazy. So you go see Nick Reed. That is Mr. Protein. You will find him at Parish Align Barbershop. You can give him a call, 337-456-9062. Make your appointment. You can go on the Parish Align website under Nick Reed, make your appointment and go see him. If you're familiar with the area, you will know that he is off Ambassador Caffrey behind Charlie G's. So go down there, check him out. He'll freshen up your beard, freshen up your hair. Look, the shop is absolutely phenomenal. They did a wonderful job with the build. It's out of this world. Go down there and check out my boy Nick Reed. Now, let's see. Let's go down the line right here. Chuck Messer is my boy Charles right here. His brother is actually playing with us. That is Prince Poncho. That is my boy Greg. We had a couple of newcomers to our league. Mr. John down here and Mr. Emil down here at the second position. And then we also had Chris Cook. That's my boy, my arch nemesis, if you will, because he is the Dallas fan of the group. I know we can save our booze and hisses for later, but this is how we shook out on our draft. Now I'm going to run down my team real quick, but then I'm also going to pick a little bit at Mr. John because he made a rookie mistake, and we'll point that out here in just a second. Okay, so first pick in the with the fourth overall pick, Justin Jefferson. I like it. It was good. Followed up by Nick Chubb. I was shocked that he fell this far to me, but as you see, Derrick Henry here fell even farther than what I thought he would. Pardon me. Now, John taking Lamar as the first quarterback off the board. He didn't watch the show. What can I say? And then Kamara with the second. Okay, I'm cool with that. Down here, I had to reach. Look, I talked about this during the show. Go get your guy. My guy this year was Michael Pittman. I had to go get him. Had to reach in round 3. Then drop down to 4. Now, I did. We'll get down to it in a second. So Mike Williams, took Mike Williams. I wasn't going to let Mr. Protein, Mr. Nick, get the stack of Justin Herbert and Mike Williams. It just wasn't happening. Okay. Besides, he already had Keenan Allen and Eckler, so I couldn't let him have the real number one option for the Chargers. Okay. I got Hollywood Brown here in the 5th. Now, I came back with Brandon Cooks in the 6th, but here's the thing. I really, really wanted Gabe Davis, but this is what happens when you run a YouTube channel for fantasy football and your buddies watch. Daniel, boy D Money, took Gabe Davis from me the pick before. I wasn't too happy about it, but props to him for stepping up and taking that pick. Coming down, David Montgomery is my second running back. And I wanted Amanda to get AJ Dillon. My nemesis took that. Jalen Hurts as my quarterback. Look, I don't like Jalen Hurts as a real life quarterback, but for fantasy, off the chain. Now, I did have to reach a little bit on this next one. I feel Damon Pierce, rookie running back for Houston. Look, I went really, really wide receiver heavy. Why? Because this is a PPR league. I need either running backs who are going to be pass catchers, which I wasn't going to get. Yes, I could have taken Joe Mixon, but I really like Nick Chubb for the running back position over. Well, I couldn't get Mixon because he got taken before me. But yeah, I could have. There's a couple of leagues that I'm in where I actually do have Mixon over Chubb. So, but yeah, then I come back second round. Look, I had to go out there with a rookie. I wanted to take Olave, but our boy John down here in the 7th round took Olave, and I could not believe that he took Olave that early. He isn't a Saints fan, so yeah, there was a little bit of fan bias that went into that. Ramondre Stevenson and Daryl Henderson round out my running back room. So I got 5 running backs, 6 wide receivers. Now, Cole Clement as my tight end, I'm looking for a breakout. Okay. And of course, I'm taking Matt Ryan. I got to follow my own advice at times. Okay. Now, down here, Jameson Williams. This kid, while he is on the pup list, this was a very don't want to do that. This was a very strategic move on my part as the last pick of my draft. I picked him. I had an IR spot. I went ahead and put him back on. And let me see here. Trying to remember who I picked up. Oh yeah, I went back and got Mark Ingram. Look, Mark Ingram's an awesome handicap to have in case Alvin Kamara goes down. He steps right into a running back 1 role. David Montgomery goes down, it's Khalil Herbert. Dalvin Cook goes down, it's Alexander Madison. If Nick Chubb goes down, it's Kareem Hunt. However, with the Kareem Hunt thing, there is trade rumors. So until the trade deadline passes, any Kareem Hunt owners, you got to be excited and scared at the same time, because where does he go? Where does he get traded to? What's the environment change? Stuff you got to worry about. So now, one thing I do have to point out that aside from taking Lamar Jackson as the number 1 pick in your draft, I don't mind the next 2, Kamara and Pitts. I'm cool with that. I'm good. Here's my issue: is he's got Metcalf and Lockett and Thomas and Olave. That's just a recipe for disaster. Okay. Now, my personal opinion, what he should do is probably try to unload maybe Michael Thomas to another Saints fan if he can get some good return. Now, he's taking him in the 5th. So if you look here, guys who are in the 5th round, Hollywood Brown, I'm not letting go of him. Allen Robinson, okay, but he's a number 2 behind Cooper Kupp. Okay. Deontay Johnson, possibly do a swap there, because I know Charles is a Saints fan, but we'll see. He might be able to get You might be able to get Robinson from Dusty just for the homerism of it. I'm gonna run St. Brown. Could probably swap that and Olave. You got an unproven rookie with a guy who's probably going to be the number one until Jameson Williams comes back from the pup. When that is, we don't know. Plus, Jameson's a rookie. Do you really want to risk it? I'm fine with it because he's not sucking up a roster spot for me right now. Then he does have Jameis Winston. So he's got a stack here. But if you're going to take Lamar Jackson with the first, then you've got to come back and take Mark Andrews. You just got to. Okay. I'm cool with the Kyle Pitts thing, but it's not really, something that I think is a good recipe to have. It's not a good template for fantasy success, but we'll see how it works out for him. So enough with John. We'll get off him for a little bit. But John, all I gotta say, buddy, is watch the show. And if you guys are watching, you got questions down the bottom, ask them down the bottom, comment section, fill it up. Okay. So we're starting talking sits. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that I'm going to abide by all of this because you saw my build. My top two running backs, I've got to start. I've got to start Montgomery. I've got to start Nick Chubb. I've got to see what else, how everything else is going to shake out. Okay. So when I go through this, I'm going to hit one that's not going to be good for me to talk about, but I'm giving you guys my honest opinion here. So Tom Brady versus Dallas. Listen, you basically got me at quarterback for the Bucks. Okay. At some point in time, this man's going to break down. I know they've been saying that for the last 10 years. Okay. But let's face facts. He's horrible with pressure up the middle. Who'd they just lose? Not just their starting center, not just their left tackle, not just their right guard. They lost their backup center. I mean, they've got a mismatch of guys up front for their O-line. It's horrible. Yeah. Lenny Fournette does have really good chops when it comes to pass protection, but he can't block the entire defense. Come on. We know that Tom is not a scrambling quarterback. He's not elusive at all. He might as well be standing with cement shoes on. He's not going to have enough time to throw the ball. And his receivers are kind of getting up there. Okay. Look, Chris Godwin coming back from injury. Can he really stay healthy? Okay. Mike Evans, yes, he has been a pillar of strength and stability his entire career. 1,000+ yard seasons every single year he's been in the league. Maybe except for this one. I just don't see it. I don't see how this isn't Brady's last hurrah. Look, he signed the Drew Brees deal. And for those of you who don't know what the Drew Brees deal is, he signed a deal that says when he's done with football, he's got a cushy little commentator job waiting for him. You really think that that's not playing in the back of his head? Come on. He already retired once. He was missing a lot of training camp. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how long you've been playing. You got to get your timing down. Okay. So, Tom Brady versus Dallas, plus the fact that Dallas is ranked number, 14, and they were the number one scoring defense last year. You don't think they're coming after Brady? Come on. Next up, Thursday night, Matt Stafford versus the Bills, the number one defense in the league versus a quarterback who's taking shots in his elbow for tendonitis. Come on. If I'm even thinking about starting Matt Stafford, I'm definitely looking for a streaming option week 1 because I want to see what that elbow looks like. If I miss out on a 3-touchdown, 350-yard game, I'm fine as long as I see that. But we don't know. We haven't seen him since the Super Bowl. Okay, and Cooper Kupp's not going to do the same thing they did last year. It's just not going to happen. Okay. So the run game is suspect. I'll be honest, the run game is suspect. Their defense, I mean, they lost Von Miller. He's now in Buffalo. You don't think that he's coming after Stafford? Come on. So I'm saying set Matt Stafford and Tom Brady. Okay. Running backs. David Montgomery. This is one that breaks my heart to say, but he's facing the 49ers, who are the second best defense in the league. Look, it's a new coaching regime. We really don't know what the usage is for David Montgomery. And when I took him, he was probably the best running back at that time. I mean, I think I took him in like the 5th round, 6th round, something like that. So next up, DeAndre Swift. He's going up against Philly, who's the 12th ranked defense in the league. I really like Swift. I really, really do. But this Philly defense scares me just a little bit. Plus the fact that, I mean, you really want Golf as your quarterback. So, wide receiver. Let's start with DK first. Look, I don't care that he did okay with Geno Smith last year. It's Geno Smith. There's a reason he's a perennial backup. No business being a starter. Okay. Plus the fact that Denver's defense is really good. So, matter of fact, 5th best. Just saying. Now, I wrote down here any Jet wide receiver. Look, they're playing the Ravens. What are the Ravens going to do? They're going to run the ball. What does running the ball do? Running the ball sucks the clock. What does that mean? That means that when they're down, yeah, they're going to have to throw the ball, but I just don't trust the Jets. Look, I was born in Missouri. Show me. Okay? Show me. Week 1, bench your Jets. I'm fine with that. Okay? Like I said, I don't care they blow up. You got Garrett Wilson? Fine, great, awesome. Sit him on the bench and let's see what happens. Okay? There's got to be somebody better on your lineup. If there's not, hit me down below with some options and I'll help you out. Okay? Tight end, TJ Hawkinson versus Philly. Again, I'm not trusting Jared Goff, and he had an injury last year. I want to see that. I want to see him healthy. I just want to see one game. I just want to see him get through the week 1. That's all I want to see. Gesicki versus the Pats. Look, there's already rumors floating around. There's already word coming out of camp that he's going to have a diminished role in this offense. Look, you got Waddle, a ton of picks to Tyreek Hill to acquire him. Okay. They're not wanting the tight end. They're going to need him in to block. Plain and simple. Okay. So TJ Hawkinson, Mike Gesicki, use somebody else. Okay, guys. So, and speaking of somebody else, another podcast, we'll call this podcast. Another podcast that you guys need to keep in mind is the Victory Couch with Rick and Julie Rando. You can find them on Spotify, Apple Podcast, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Look, it's a awesome, whimsical podcast. Makes you think a little bit, especially if you're married or you have a significant other. Tune in. The questions that they ask each other. Ask your significant other, your wife, your girlfriend, husband, boyfriend, whoever. Ask them. Sit there, listen to it together, listen to it separately, and then come back and talk about it. Okay. It is an absolutely phenomenal podcast. I encourage everyone to go watch it. And when you leave a little comment for them, please tell them that Faith in Football sent you over and told you about them. Give them a little love. There's some awesome people, real down to earth. They've been married, I think, 19 years. So go down there, go check them out. Tell them Faith in Football sent you. That's all I got, guys. That's the first start set of week 1 for the 2022 season. Welcome to fantasy football. It is time to kick it off. And I'm hoping that tonight, when you're watching the game, that you took some of this advice and you're not sitting there kicking yourself because you started Matt Stafford. Okay, guys. We'll see y'all next time. Remember, when you're watching, that football is good, but God is greater. We'll see you guys next time on Faith in Football. Take care.